Remember when you could only buy accounts for FIFA points on UFIFA? Well, now they are selling actual digital codes for you to use on your existing account. You can currently get 4,600 points on Xbox for around £19 when you use the code TVM at checkout. The link is down below. Go check them out. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome to the Marquee matchups predictions. I had to delay this just purely because there are so many games on this weekend. Everyone coming back after their breaks, officially, including the German league as well. And there are so many potential matchups that I had to take an extra day to decide out how I'm going to plan the video and how I was going to lay out the video, do all the graphics for it. And in the end, I copped out and I haven't done an awful lot of the graphics. But still, either way, doesn't matter. Let's get into the first potential set of matchups. Now, I'm not going to spend too long on each one because there are 3 sets to get through before we get to my actual prediction. So we've got Juventus against Lazio, obviously the Italian game there. It's a big shout, but there is a slightly bigger Italian game on, in my opinion, so we're going to leave that one alone. Lyon against Marseille. I don't think they'll go for this. This is probably the closest shout you're going to get to actually making it in there. It's a big game in France, but I don't think it's going to quite make it just because there's 1 or 2 other games that I think will take precedent over that. Bastia Nice, if there was going to be one that was going to take the top spot, it wouldn't be Bastia against Nice, especially as you've got Lyon and Marseille, and there is another French game on as well. And then Villarreal against Valencia, which is a big game, very, very big game, but I don't think it'll make its way in there. We've seen a lot of Spanish-related SBCs lately, so I think they'll give us a break on the old Spanish front. But 4 to consider, just in case you want to prepare. You're like one of these people who like to prepare for every eventual outcome. It's going to cost you a lot of money to prepare this week, but still, those are for the first 4 games. And as we move into the second set of 4 games, you'll see that I've kicked things off there with QPR against Fulham. And we might as well mention Barnsley and Leeds in the same sentence, because the reason I haven't chosen either of these games, basically, A, I don't think they're big enough, for first and foremost, but second of all, we had 2 weeks of marquee matchups where we had like English league games because there weren't any other games on around the world. So I don't think they'll use these again because they now have opportunities to use games from other parts of the world. So bear that in mind. But if you are, again, one of these people who like to over-prepare and just have every eventual outcome sewn up, then go and get yourself some championship players and obviously players corresponding to those clubs. Atletico Bilbao against Atletico Madrid. It is a fairly big game. I realise I've spelt Atletico the proper English way in the Bilbao, and then I've spelt it the Spanish way in the Madrid. I must have been drunk. But either way, I don't think it'll be enough to make it in there. I've not predicted a Spanish game this week. Villarreal Valencia, if I had to pick one, would be the one that I would put in there. But again, I don't think that'll make it either. And finally, we're going to speak about PSV against Heerenveen. An interesting one, but it's not the biggest game in Holland this weekend as far as I'm concerned. Well, not necessarily the biggest game, but I don't think it's the game that EA would pick out of the 2 potential Dutch games that we have. And bear that in mind because we are going to speak about it after the final set of potential but probably not games. Another 4. Standard Liège against Club Brugge. There is a lot of Belgian league things going on with SBCs. We've had that special card, of course, and I just can't see it being put in there. It's not a big enough game. Well, it is, but it's not at the same time big enough game to be put in there. So I'm probably going to leave that one alone. As is the Fenerbahce Istanbul game. Fairly big in Turkey, but I don't think it's going to be big enough to put in there. We have Bordeaux against Toulouse. This is probably the most likely French game to make it in there if they were to put a French team in, but I don't think they will, and especially seeing as how Toulouse players are ridiculously priced at the moment. At least on PC they are. I'm pretty sure they're the same on Xbox. I'm not really sure on PlayStation, but Toulouse players, silver in particular, are ridiculous price, so I don't think they'll want to really put that in there because it'll almost be impossible to do. And then finally, another championship game. We have Norwich against Wolves. Big game there, but I don't think it'll make it in purely for the reasons that I listed earlier. And finally, before we get into my final 4 predictions, no graphics for this one, but FC20 against Heracles. I think this could be a massive contender for making it into the marquee matchups this week. Just narrowly beaten out by a hunch. That's all it was. It was a hunch. I had an idea of another particular game that I think will finally make it in there because it's been bobbing up and down for a while. But just want to bear in mind, if you want to prepare for this, obviously go and get yourself 1 FC20 and 1 Heracles player. I would imagine it'll be a full Dutch side as well. Just bear that in mind. And this is the game that I decided to bump it for. It is Melbourne victory against Sydney FC. It's the big one. It's Melbourne against Sydney. Of course, there are two different Melbourne sides, and I don't know an awful lot about it, whether this is the biggest rivalry or not. But still, it's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you. No, that's the wrong song. It's been a long time since we've seen an Australian game make it into the marquee matchups. There is a derby pretty much every single week. Why not this week, eh, baby? I would go and prepare with one player from either side and a full Australian starting 11. And now we head on down to Mexico way. We have Tigres against Club America. I'm not really sure whether this actually featured when I predicted it last. I can't remember whether I got it right or whether I got it wrong. Obviously, I got it one or the other. But I'm going to put it in there again, purely because it is a very big Mexican game. Obviously, these two sides made it to the playoffs a few weeks back. They are back at it again. And if it didn't make it, it will definitely make it. If it did make it, then it probably won't. But I can't cast my mind back far enough, and I couldn't find the result of it. But I would prepare for this either way, regardless of whether you think it's going to make it in there or not. Go and get yourself some Mexican players and go and get yourself a player from either side as well. Now moving on to the second to last matchup, which is AC Milan against Napoli. An interesting one. It's a big clash in Italy, really. Two Italian giants going at it, and I can't see them leaving it out this week. So why not indeed go and get yourself one from either club and a full Italian 11. It's a bit boring marquee matchups these days. They don't really make it that difficult anymore. I remember when they first started it, not that it was that long ago, but still, remember when they first started it, they used to say you need two from either side and you need like 8 non-Italian players in there. Do you know what I mean? It was always something really difficult like that, but now it's just a cop-out, really. They just say, yeah, one from either team, doesn't matter which, and then full, whatever, full Italian. So, yeah, go prepare for it. It's going to be in there. As is my final prediction, it is Manchester City against high-flying Tottenham Hotspur. This is a massive game in the Premier League. Manchester City have just been absolutely decimated by Everton. They now need to go up against Tottenham, not an easy side to play, and they need to get a result. It's not a derby by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a massive game in the Premier League this weekend, so they are not going to leave it out, especially as they've got that contract with the Premier League as well. Any excuse to get more Premier League content into the game. So yeah, go prepare for that. To be honest, I wouldn't necessarily say you need English players for this. Seeing as how the Premier League is littered with foreign talent, I would probably say that you need a few foreign players in there, but they might throw a curveball and say that you need full English. So it's an interesting one. It's going to be a difficult one to prepare for, actually. So one from either side, and I would probably get a mixture of English and foreign players just to be on the safe side, because it is literally too close to call. And that brings us to the end of this week's marquee matchup predictions. There was a lot of games. I left a lot out as well, so I mean, it could easily go either way with this. They could try and throw a couple of curveballs in there. I've actually tried to think a little bit outside the box with the Australian one and the Mexican one as well, but the two games at the end, the Italian and the Premier League game, I can't really see them leaving that out. Can you? Let me know in the comment section down below who you would have put in, who you would have left out, and what you've prepared for. If you've enjoyed this video, do me a huge favour and smack that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have done so. Thank you very much for watching, of course, and until the next time, goodbye. If you want access to exclusive content and perks, or just want to support me, head over to my Patreon page. The link is down in the description. Go check it out.